So we've been getting some more information on the Bungie situation right now after the end of Destiny 2 was announced just a couple of days ago. And the fallout online has been vicious towards specifically one game in particular, and of course, frustrated towards Bungie and Sony with their current status when it comes to what's next for the company. But we're going to look over all of that here today because things are actually a lot worse than most people were figuring when they initially saw that announcement. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. So this is all kicked off, of course, by Bungie as they did put out that post on their website. But to follow that up, a couple of hours later, the report from Jason Schreier was published that says that Bungie and Sony were planning a significant number of layoffs as it ends development on the long-running shooter game Destiny 2. And the thing that I think surprised a lot of people with that is that the company doesn't have a new project lined up for Destiny 2's development team after the game comes to an end next month. I feel like many of us thought, hey, they must have a plan because it's a big company and you assume multi-billion dollar companies with Sony and with Bungie in tow would have an idea. Okay, what's next? We're going to end Destiny 2 because Destiny 3 is coming up. Not the case. Right now, there is no immediate plans to enter production on Destiny 3. And while there's not an actual number of job cuts that are known at this time, it seems to be significant, I guess, is what's expected right now. But people are wondering, why is Destiny 3 not in development? So the final shape happened, what was this, like almost 2 years ago. And you would assume because that was kind of marking the end of Destiny 2, and many people who are really into Destiny 2 say that was actually a pretty good ending for it. And that's when you would figure they would have been moving on to Destiny 3, because otherwise Destiny 2 had this weird thing where it seemed like they didn't want to let go at that time still. And I mean, it did have a at least a player base that was consistently playing the game. So it's that weird thing where you have a hard time separating from that live service game that still has some pull and then make the next live service game. And that's usually why you don't see numbered sequels to games like these. But here we are with Destiny 2 now wondering about Destiny 3. But apparently they never really moved on and started thinking about development. And you might be wondering why. Well, it does really come down to being as simple as the money aspect. Jason Schreier did respond, saying a lot of people have wondered why Bungie didn't immediately start working on Destiny 3 after Final Shape. The answer is how much money it would take. And it's hard to say what the budget would be set at for a Destiny 3. I know that there was that number getting thrown around when Destiny was coming out with the deal with Bungie and Activision. It was like $500 million. And part of that was marketing on its own, as in like, hey, this is a very expensive game, you should check it out. But I think the actual amount for development budget for Destiny was like 150 or 160 million, something like that. And then the 500 million was actually for like spin-offs they were going to do and like a 10-year plan and then the marketing. Obviously that didn't work out because Bungie broke away from Activision and then eventually got picked back up this time by Sony. But essentially right now it would be expensive to make Destiny 3. I think everyone understands that. There is a significant amount of risk involved. Although I will say for Sony, with some of the stuff they've greenlit, like a Concord, maybe sometimes it's okay to take the less risky swing with a Destiny 3. Okay. Well, we did also get a follow-up story. This was published today from Paul Tassi over on Forbes. If you want to look through this or a Bloomberg article, I'll have it linked down below in the description because there's quite a bit here that Paul went over. But something that caught my eye and many people is that people at Bungie just didn't seem to know that a lot of this was happening right now. Okay, so it says the work continued on the future Destiny 2 content, including future expansions like Shattered Cycle, and did not stop immediately when this decision was made, that being the decision to end support for Destiny 2 and move some amount of resources over to Marathon, and that was made earlier this year. Say this was because the vast majority of Bungie did not know about Destiny 2 support being dropped right up until it was publicly announced. Yes, the situation where you and I found out along with a majority of Bungie developers that Destiny 2 was at end of life and would not see any further development around new content, just probably bug fixes or security issues that they have to resolve so that it just stays upright. As I mean, the first Destiny you can still play. Destiny 2 has this weird thing where like the beginning is just not in existence anymore. So the onboarding is very, very weird. But because of that, some people have wondered if maybe they would go on to make Destiny Classic or Destiny 2 Classic. I've seen that floated. Didn't seem like they had any of that sorted out or planned, because many of them didn't think necessarily, or know, maybe some of them figured that Destiny 2 would just be coming to an end like now in June, and found out when we did. And that is that's something. But the thing that is, this is the issue that Bungie and Sony find themselves in. Bungie does have another game that's Marathon. And the problem now is that everyone is looking at Marathon kind of with the side eye more than ever, because it does sound like Destiny 2, just the way this is all lining up, people moving over to Marathon. Destiny 2 was pushed to the side, with Marathon now being chosen as the flagship title for Bungie, when it really doesn't have the player base or support that would be required to hold up a studio with now 800 or more people. At one point, they were well over 1,000 people, and they've just been having layoffs. We've of course gone over that. Sony did actually pull some of the developers away and form Team LFG, and I think that's where they took Gummy Bears, which was an incubation project they had. So at this point, Bungie's already been kind of shedding talent for a couple of years now, but still 800 people, Marathon. I don't think the numbers work out, and that's one of the reasons people now are expecting imminent, significant layoffs. But the other issue is Marathon already on its back foot. Now people are just kind of mad at Marathon, like really mad, because Destiny 2 was shuttered because they got to hold up Marathon. And like I think a lot of people started to notice, wow, reviews are coming in on Steam that are pretty negative. Like this May 22nd, 23rd, just the past couple days, you can see a pretty big increase in negative reviews. And if you go through them, people are just like, oh, I can't believe they picked this over Destiny 2, or I hate Marathon because they got rid of Destiny 2 for it. It really is that. You're seeing Destiny 2 come up as a keyword in many of these negative reviews right now. So picture Marathon, which is already struggling, like in terms of just concurrent player count, keeping interest, and that is the lifeblood of a live service game, now being knocked down even further because people are just annoyed at it from what's happened here with Destiny 2. I don't really know what the future is for Marathon. I think Paul went over it in his article here, in his different bullet points, where some of the talent from who are working on Destiny 2 being moved over to Marathon are looking at new PvP and PvE modes, try to expand the player base. So the larger team behind it means more content will be coming to Marathon. I actually just feel like at this point it's such an uphill battle. It's going to cost a lot of money in terms of development and content to get it to a place where people want to log in droves and play the thing, if that ever happens. So that seems like a very strange bet. And the only reason I can assume they're going that route is because the game already technically exists. It's released. They've sold at least a couple million copies, it sounds like. So they can't Concord the thing and refund everyone and take it back. It's just kind of out there. They have to at least see it through for, I assume, another year. But, I mean, who knows? We've seen these live service games get cut down months into development. So it wouldn't shock me if the game went maybe a full year from its release. So we got another like 8 months or something, and then they cut it down. Well, here's the thing. Fans, while they're not happy with the decision to move over to Marathon, while they were, I think, shocked that there is no plans and they're incubating projects now, which is 5 or 6 years probably from development to then at least coming out, people are going to push and try to show Sony and Bungie that they still want something with Destiny. And while Destiny 3 would be great for, again, many of these fans, I even think if they did go the route of, hey, we're going to do a Destiny Classic, that would be something at least. But you have to remember right now, you're not talking to Bungie anymore. You're talking to Sony. The fact that Schreier is saying that a lot of it's coming down to money and Sony's interest in actually funding the project, think about it that way. We're going above Bungie. We're going to the publisher, the person who put the money into this. So we're seeing petitions pop up right now. And you guys know my thoughts on petitions. They usually don't work. So That's the thing. But I think now more than ever, it's, hey, let's show that there is interest in the idea around a Destiny 3. While I don't think the petition necessarily is something that would really move the needle, what would is, yes, if everyone logged, they have this over on Reddit. Everyone log in on June 9th. Of course, that's when the update is happening for Destiny 2. It's gonna look pretty. It already kind of looks sketchy for Marathon when Destiny 2, 9-year-old Destiny 2, had more concurrent players than Marathon. That didn't look great for Marathon. So if you have a massive spike, and look, they're expecting traffic obviously for an update, but if there's like a massive spike in concurrent players, it's going to look even worse for Marathon. So while people are here review bombing Marathon, I think the more effective thing would legitimately be logging in all on this day to show that, yes, there is still a fairly substantial fan base, and the riskiness of a Destiny 3, while it would be a risk nonetheless, because you don't even know if things are actually going to make it to the finish line. That's how it is with game development now, especially with a project like a Destiny 3. It might be worth taking a swing at over many of the other live service bets that Sony is making, but that's just where we are with the situation. It really is worse than we thought, because Bungie's in no man's land right now. It's like they have Marathon, but they don't have enough people who seem to want to play Marathon. Many of the people are busy talking about Destiny 2, and that is about to be end of life for Bungie, which means it's not going to be a current project for them or something that they can necessarily focus on to try to turn around. That's now Marathon. So, yeah, not great. And I understand why people, so I see people online who are sad about the idea of Destiny 2 going away. And, I kind of think about this with Bungie, and I've always kind of been attached to Bungie because of the impact they had with the original Halo games from 1 all the way to Reach. And I thought about that. It's like Halo 1, 2, 3, and then Reach. That was a 9-year run. The same amount of time for Destiny 2, actually, from 2017 to 2026, a 9-year run. It's like, I get it. You've kind of followed along with this studio, Bungie, and all the changes and updates they've made and the content they've released for this expanding universe. And I kind of had that with Halo, and then eventually they went away. And it was kind of a shame when all that went down. So I feel like I understand, even though I'm not the biggest Destiny person, I still played the first one and the second one here and there. Was in and out depending on updates or other things that were happening. But if you've stuck with them the whole time as they were building out this universe, yeah, it's going to be crushing when you hear that they are moving on from Destiny 2. No plans necessarily in the immediate future to do anything else with Destiny. And if you want to follow along with Bungie still, you'd have to go play Marathon. And I just don't think, and it's, again, the numbers kind of show it, that the Destiny community is that interested in Marathon. That's just kind of it. So let me know what you guys think about this one down below in the comments. Specifically, if you were Sony right now and you have Bungie, which, take away the question of was it a good acquisition or not for Sony? Obviously, it was not. What would you do, though, right now with Bungie between projects, them working on Marathon? How exactly would you handle this? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.